Hi, welcome back. This is Emily with Emily Talks. I want to start off by expressing a moment of gratitude. First to myself for coming back here. It's been a while since I've created a video, and I keep thinking about my channel and thinking about connecting with y'all, and it continues to be something important for me, particularly because I know I continue to need to journal. I am on this journey of growth and I want to continue that journey of growth. So I'm grateful to myself for taking the time to choose to come and sit here and do this video today. I'm also grateful to you for coming back. It's something I'm really concerned about, is keeping this connection alive between myself and y'all, because I'm not consistent. And it worries me a bit about being a good content creator and being somebody who is providing helpful material and a helpful message, is to continue coming back and being part of this journey by sharing with y'all. Particularly when I'm not doing well, that's something that I want to bring visibility to, and it makes me feel really uncertain about my message when I'm not doing well and I'm not recording a video, and I'm like, well, I don't want to share this part of myself. So I think about it a lot, and at some point that intentionality is going to come together into content creation so that I can find that space for myself to be able to share what this journey looks like with y'all and to connect with you. Because, you know, just like I've been saying with pretty much all of my videos, in so much as I experience those moments of uncertainty about myself and shame, I know that there are many other people who want connection in those moments as well. So it's in my mind on how to make all of that fit and connect with y'all. Today's message is going to be about meditation for healing PTSD and trauma, and how meditation can be able to be used to that effect, particularly in engaging all of the different senses. That's something I've been thinking about a lot, particularly during this holiday season, when I think a lot about my Christian roots and the things that we did within meditation from a Christian perspective, and how I have gone through my spiritual healing journey. And I find myself again in a spiritual sense of meditation. How am I integrating that into an atheistic lifestyle, an anti-mysticism lifestyle, and the way that it's helping me grow and heal? So meditation is something that's a little bit scary for me, because the roots that it came from for me come from this deep mysticism of Orthodox Christianity. And there was, from this Orthodox Christian aspect, it wasn't meditation so much as it was specifically prayer. And there were a lot of ways that prayer was enveloped in all of my senses. It included engaging all of my senses. A huge part of prayer within the Orthodox Church includes iconography. It includes incense. It includes rosary beads, like the chatki, whatever you want to call it. Not chatki. Dang. No, it's chatki, because tchotchke is those stupid little things that you would find around. It just includes all of these elements that engage the different senses. Iconography, I don't know if I mentioned that, but you've got your sight, you've got your sense of smell engaged, you've got your tactile sensations with, rosary beads, and then you've got your sense of hearing engaged with all of the chanting, etc. So there's this huge sensory immersion that happens during prayer. And something that I'm starting to really integrate as I get back into meditation, which also includes, burning different incense. It's going to be different scents than what I'm used to as far as my Orthodox Christian upbringing. There's repetitious prayers, like positive affirmations or aphorisms. Those different things are things that I could repeat to myself. There's guided imagery, which that imagery just really calls to mind the imagery of some of the chants, as well as the iconography is meant to bend and distort the perception of reality to be able to take us to this higher reality. So there's all of these different things that blend with this sense of mysticism, as well as there's a lot of mysticism that you often find in meditation. And that's something that I personally do not embrace. However, I do know that there's this really wonderful experience that I have from engaging my different senses as I become more healed from my previous experiences, with Orthodox Christian prayer, which to me was it was a hurtful part of my personal experience. I understand that for many people it's very beautiful, and at certain times that experience was beautiful to me. And I want to reconnect with that sense of joy and hope and immersion. The immersion is so huge. And as I start to re-encounter meditation and re-encounter the imagery, the smells, the intentionality that goes into meditation, the more that I realize that this is directly connected to what happens in EMDR therapy, which I'm going to link down below. EMDR engages the brain to try to help bring up specific memories, and when you bring up these specific memories, you try to create new neural connections to be able to change your brain's wiring and make sure that things that were typically triggers become just normal everyday experiences and don't reignite memories of the past that no longer serve us, that do not help us make good decisions within our lives or maintain stability and happiness. So when I am going through meditation in the sense of healing and making myself into a person that my brain lights up in a positive way, which I struggle with a lot. I struggle with feeling positive. There's a lot of things in my life that are unsatisfying to me, that I'm not sure how to change. And engaging my senses in a positive moment is so important for changing my brain. And this is why. If I link up positive experiences and positive feelings with different imagery, with different scents, with getting myself into certain ritualistic behaviors where I perform similar patterns of movement or of intention or of speaking or whatever, that it lights up those different parts of my brain, and it creates an experience that I can return to without having to think it through, that I could return to when my mind is not available to me, because that is the essence of what happens with PTSD, and much of what happens with borderline personality disorder is that when I become triggered, my rational brain is not available to me. I'm placed into a place, into a mindset where I am in fight, flight, flee, or fawn. So that kind of trauma response, the fight and flight, we're usually familiar with those, but also freeze is going to be a response where you shut down, and then fawn is a response where you try to win over the affection of somebody who's going to hurt you. So you try to appease the situation and take control from the place of saying, you can't hurt me, I'm too lovable, I'm too nice, I'm soothing whatever is making you upset. And that's typically where the place where I fall into is a fawn response or a freeze response. Those are my two typical responses. And that's where my rational brain feels like it needs to engage, because that has been the things that have protected me in the past. And my rational brain in those moments, it's just not available to me in a way that's meaningful, where I can be able to rationally work through what's happening and what's going on. Once I'm triggered, it's in a space where that's just not available to me. What I need to do in those moments is be able to first ground and be able to come back to this space here and now. Come back to here and now. And then I can be able to engage, because if my brain is still transporting me to somewhere where there was immense danger, and I'm in this place of like, oh my goodness, remember this was danger before, be in this danger response mode, being able to make rational decisions is just not available to me. And the really wonderful thing about meditation and repetition, about these, positive affirmations, about bringing up scents for grounding, bringing up imagery for grounding, all of these things, even bringing up taste, all of that can help trigger a positive response, because I have created a safe environment for myself, where I have brought in different sensory experiences that will trigger my brain into a different experience, into a different headspace, so that I could be able to deal with whatever I need to deal with. I've stepped back, I've calmed myself down. Now I can be able to return back to whatever situation was causing me distress. And this is so important for my healing journey, being able to engage in these experiences that for me have typically been linked with mysticism and destruction and surrender of my mind, to be able to utilize these instead as a reasonable, rational skill to bring my mind back to me, to make it available to me again. And I think that that's really powerful. Some of the wonderful things that I like to employ, one of the people who comes to our meditation group, she has a singing bowl, and we will do stretches along with chiming to the singing bowl. And it makes me think so much of the bells at church and the genuflections that we would do, the bowing, the making the sign of the cross, all of these different rituals that we would do. It's so similar. And yet, because of my intentionality and my understanding of how the brain works and how to be able to utilize that to my advantage, instead of creating this stronger connection with my sense of mysticism and rejection of this world, I use that to be able to say, let my senses become alive in this moment of peace and security and calm. The connection that I have with my friends in that moment, and the intentionality that I have toward a loving life. I capture all of that and I attach it to these movements and to these sounds, so that every time that I return to this place where I have these sounds, I have these motions, I can return to those ideas in my mind. And even when I'm upset later, I can even recall the sounds and the motions, just try to bring them up in my mind, because when I attach those feelings to visuals and to other sensory input, it makes it easier to recall those memories. It's not just, I know I have peace somewhere in there. I know that I have someone who loves me. I know I have connections with people. Well, I know those things, but I'm not able to experience them because of how shut down my brain is. If I can think of Iris, the singing bowl, singing her beautiful notes, if I could think of that and of the vibrations of that sound as they move through me, it's something so concrete. And then behind it is that more ephemeral feeling of peace and security and community. The same thing for some of the scents. So being raised Orthodox Christian, there are particular scents that they use within the Orthodox Church, and those are still triggering for me, so I do not enjoy them. I have communicated with my meditation group that some of them, like frankincense, I'm sorry, I'm not able to handle that smell, so there's some things, but we have Palo Santo that we burn, and there's something really wonderful, not just about the smell, but we'll have, a sort of smudging. I guess it's just directly smudging, not even with quotes, where the person who leads this part of the meditation will come over and bring the smoke and kind of, drift it across where I am. And I take that moment of feeling like a sort of blessing coming from my friend in the form of this smoke. And, on the surface, it does sound very mystical that I'm receiving a blessing through smoke. But what I do is I take that scent, I remember the scent, and I connect it with the imagery of my friend being there in front of me, loving me, being connected with me, sending me positive intention because she wants my life to be happy and wonderful. And I lock in that awareness of who she is and what that moment is and who I am within that moment into that scent. And I take that with me. When I'm having a rough moment, I think of the scent of Palo Santo and of Iris singing. And I bring myself into that moment. And those sensory inputs solidify it, makes it easier to recall. One of the recent meditations that we did, it was a guided meditation, and there was a portion of it where the person who was doing the guided meditation talked about, let's take all of our thoughts one at a time and imagine them as leaves that we pluck from a tree, and put that thought into that leaf, and you're going to place that leaf onto a soft, gentle stream, and the leaf will flow down the stream and rest in a calm pool, and there that leaf will be. And you continue as thoughts come into your mind, because I am often overwhelmed with my thoughts. I think if I don't figure this out right now, my world is going to explode. If I don't figure it out right now, when am I going to figure it out? If I'm not going to think about it right now, when is it going to be solved? But I'm not figuring out any solutions during the middle of meditation. I just feel attached to my thoughts. And as I observe myself not being able to let go of these thoughts, I think to myself, in this moment, what is it that I'm accomplishing by obsessing? In this moment, I just want to find peace and calm in my life, because I want to be able to have this clear idea of calm to return to when I'm overwhelmed. All things can be addressed within due time. And I trust that I know that I can be able to address what I need to address when I need to. That obsessing over ideas and imagery in my head or things that I'm worrying about doesn't actually solve an issue. Particularly when I say, right now, my goal is to be calm. My goal is to have peace in my mind and to let my mind take a break. When I really go into meditation and I realize how tenaciously obsessed I am with my thoughts is when I realize when and where do I have just peace and calm? It's very, very seldom. What I do when I am trying to distract myself from upsetting things is I play video games, I play on my phone, I'm watching TV, I'm drowning out the thoughts. They haven't gone away, I'm drowning them out. I'm trying to replace them with another thought. I'm trying to overwhelm myself with other puzzles to think about so that they go to the back of my mind. My worries go to the back of my mind, but they haven't been dealt with. I'm not actually at rest in my mind. I'm just engaged in a different way. I'm not creating room for the things that are pressing and causing me anxiety and upset. When I go to meditate, it's to create this place of calm. And when I meditate, I really think to myself, whenever am I this calm? When I'm not thinking about the things that are pressing needs that are churning in my mind or upsetting memories or whatever it is, am I finding this place of calm and peace where I can let go of the thoughts? Or am I just pushing them away? And the answer is, I'm really pushing them away. It's when I do this mindful meditation that I'm finding this place of peace and calm. So to go back to the guided meditation, we were taking each of our thoughts as a leaf, just one thought at a time, and naming it to a leaf, putting all of that thought into this image of the leaf and letting it flow on the stream. And part of the beauty of that imagery was that the leaves all rest in this calm pool, and they will be there. Even if they are really important, I need to hold on to them. They will be there for me when I need to pick them up again. I can't tell you how many times I've used that guided imagery. When I find myself becoming really overwhelmed, I imagine myself taking a leaf and putting my thought into the leaf and letting it rest into the stream and gliding off into the pool and giving myself reassurance that that thought is I know where that thought is when I'm ready to pick it back up again. Sometimes what happens when I'm really overwhelmed is I can't differentiate between anxious thoughts and important thoughts. Things that are essential. Like, one of the things that's really hard for me is eating. And when I think about eating, I get very obsessed with what I want to eat, what I have that I can cook. Are the dishes clean? Making a decision about eating is an important decision. But all of the obsessive thoughts that I have around it because of the trauma that I've experienced around food, they aren't helpful. So trying to understand what it means to feed myself over all of these other obsessions that I end up having about what it means to feed myself. Like, how am I going to execute that? It's really hard to pull apart which parts are actually essential about feeding myself. Even if I create meal plans, I get very upset about keeping to those meal plans because of what I've been through. And there's a lot of, oh yeah, well, this is a solution. Of course it does. Of course there's a solution out there. This is not a new problem. But me being able to come to that solution in a place of calm and peace and acceptance takes a lot of work, because a lot of work went into hurting me. Decades of work went into hurting who I was as a child and young adult. Very intentional work. There was a lot of stuff about hunger being a way for the devil to, directly tempt you. And about learning to tame the body through hunger, to instead hunger for Christ. And it left an indelible mark. Once I decided, hey, I don't want to hunger for Christ, I didn't know what else to hunger for. I mean, obviously there's myself, but I don't know who I am. I just know craving. And craving is a lot of things. Sometimes I crave salad, and I crave it as much as I crave candy or I crave pizza. And, sometimes I really want a home-cooked meal, but I'm so freaking overwhelmed that I'm not able to do it. Or I'm missing one ingredient. All of these different things come in all of these forms, and I just put them into leaves. And I look for my calm first. Once I have my calm and my peace, I return to that pool and I say, okay, what did I need to pick back up from here? What was the important stuff? And you know what? Most of the crap has been forgotten because I got rid of it and I've got ADHD or, whatever. I just letting go of obsessive thoughts. I find that it's harder to pick up some of them that were really not important in the first place anyway. I can come back and return to that pool and pick up, I need to eat. Okay, let's look in the fridge. Let's make a meal plan. Because I find that I will get caught up and obsessed and upset before I've even walked into my kitchen. I just thought, even hours before I'm hungry, I'm like, hey, I need to cook lunch later on today, and already I'm overwhelmed. And that's really the importance of engaging the senses. And a great way to engage the senses with intentionality is through meditation. If you think, like I'm going to link down below some information about grounding skills, and a super easy grounding skill is carrying around those little aromatic oils and taking one out and like smelling it or dabbing a little bit on your eye or on your wrist, just like you would for perfume, because you're moving your hands around all the time and it just kind of wafts around your waft. I don't know how does one say that word, but putting it right here next to your eye as well will just keep that scent coming in. And using the scents to be able to bring your body back down to this here and now is super great. So meditation combines that with the intentionality in that moment. It's not just about grounding, it's about smelling that scent and then bringing yourself back to this place of peace and calm that you intentionally cultivated in that moment of meditation. So I've been thinking about doing this video for a while. I thought about doing it on solstice because we did some fantastic meditation for the winter solstice with my community group, and it was so great. There was so much that I got to learn, and I thought it would be a great time to do that. And yet here I am on Christmas Day having some time to sit and connect with y'all, and also not feeling so defeated and upset with myself that I could come and connect. It's been tough. I think a lot of it has to do with my hair looks cute today, y'all. So thank you a ton for joining me. I hope that this information helps. I hope it gives you some context about what meditation can do to be able to engage yourself fully in that moment of calm and then return back to that moment of calm if you're really upset. If you're interested in guided imagery, I'm going to ask that you comment down below about like, hey, let's get some information here going, or what is interesting to you, because the guided imagery that I use is with somebody who's local here. It's not really on YouTube, so I don't have anything to link She also doesn't have anything online per se. She just comes and is wonderful with us and brings her own little notes, and we have our own intimate little sessions. So if there's a discussion that you would like to have around meditation or guided meditation, leave me some comments down below and let's get engaged. Maybe we can do a virtual session sometime with the person who does our sessions, because we do a lot that's virtual. So if that's something that you're interested in, let us know, and let's see if we can get you connected through Zoom. And I just wish you guys a really wonderful holiday. This Christmas, the solstice, Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate, I hope that you have a season of joy and wonder and peace. Namaste, my friends.